Alright, what is up guys? We are live here with ProPlay Games and we're going to teach you how to download OCTGN, and we're going to start all the way from the beginning. Why are we doing this? Because we have a big tournament, as you can see on screen, Draft Box 5 tournament happening this weekend. It's going to be the same thing as a ProPlay tour where we have 1 day committed to play X amount of rounds, and we're going to have a pretty big attendance. We already have a large amount of people registered here, so all the information can be found on ppgeventmanagement.com. It has everything as far as useful links and information and how the breakdown is going to be, how many rounds, all the tournament guidelines, when each round starts, and more. So make sure you guys check out that page if you are interested, and of course if you're not interested or you won't be available, make sure you check out the live stream on PPG DBS. Now the first thing we're going to do is look up OCTGN, OCTGN, that's what the abbreviation is, and then we're going to find it on YouTube, on Google. Right, we're going to go and click it. We're going to be able to go download. Now if you don't have a Windows computer, you have to do an extra step. You have to download like an emulator, which you'll be able to find on one of these useful information. Like if you have a Mac, watch this and it'll teach you how to actually be able to run Windows type things like this. But we're going to go to download up here. We're going to see download for Microsoft Windows. We're going to go ahead and click that. It's going to go down here and it's going to load up. It's a pretty fast download. It's going to tell you, hey, we're protecting your PC, we're going to run it anyways, right? Then this is going to pop up. We're just going to click next. We're going to click through there because we don't really listen to any of this stuff anyways. Next, install. We're going to wait for that to load up. Alright, so it's done here. That was a pretty fast download. So as soon as we try to boot it up, it's going to ask us if we're running OCTGN on a Linux or Macs using Wine. So Wine is like one of those boot camp type alternatives that you can use. I don't think Wine is updated to run it, so I would, like I said, just watch the video on what to do. But if you're running this on Mac or something like that, you might want to press yes here, but we're going to press no because that doesn't apply to us because we're just using Windows. This is going to keep giving us warning signs. We're just going to go with it anyways. There's one more thing back here. We're just pressing yes on all this stuff. Okay, so now we finally got to pretty much the software that you're going to be using to run games, right? So this is completely separate from the web-based. So this is not web-based. You use the web to download it, but now you have to download it. So this is important if you're like trying to play on a laptop and then you're trying to, like for example, this is another computer than when I have it at home or on a laptop. You have to download it 3 different times if you're trying to use it on 3 different devices. So it's a little bit inconvenient in that way, but it's great for PCs or any type of computer that you're just planning to play a lot on. Regardless, I don't think it takes up too much space anyways. So the first thing you're going to do is sign and register. So you have to go here onto the actual web-based thing and register, right? You're going to fill out all this information. Once you register and prove that you're not a robot, then you're going to use that information to sign in here. All right, so once we sign in, go to the first thing you want to do is go to Games Manager, I believe. From Games Manager, you're going to be able to find the game, okay? So this is the first thing that you do. So you scroll down, these are all the different games that it has. You're going to find in the D section, right? It goes ascending order. In the D section, you have Dragon Ball S, Patch Beta, and Dragon Ball Z trading card game. So you're going to go for the Dragon Ball S Patch Data. You're going to press install. So this is important because that's going to give you the file to like play the game and things like that. So if you want to see like Duel Masters, for example, if you see Duel Masters here or Final Fantasy and you want to watch those games and maybe not just play them or whatever, you can't even watch a game unless you download, like you install the game first. So we installed Dragon Ball. We can see that it's successful through this little check mark. Now when we click this, we have the option to uninstall, and then we also have the option up here, if you can see, we have add image packs. So this is very important because this is how you're going to get images on your cards. Otherwise, you're going to have a bunch of backwards cards, essentially. Like all the cards will just have the Dragon Ball Super back on them, but then in text you'll see them. So I guess we'll kind of go into it to show you how that looks like first. So we'll go to deck editor. In the case that you don't want to do this or whatever for some reason, the deck editor is going to show us all these Dragon Ball cards, and as you can see, there's no pictures on them, only the text. So this is what happens when you don't download the image pack, or when like some of the images might be missing, because that's bound to happen sometimes, right? So we're going to get out of this deck builder and we're going to go here and install the image pack. How do we find the image pack? Back on ppgeventmanagement.com, you'll be able to see useful links and information. Card image pack. So this is what you need. So this is the YouTube video that we're posting right now. This is the link to the video that you want to look at if you have a Mac and you want to play this. And this is the card image pack. So we're going to click this. It's going to take us here. We're going to look at this last one. One is parent directory. We're not clicking that. Card information, not applicable to us. This is what we want, the Dragon Ball Super full 322 fixed. I believe there's going to be one more update to this to add in some more recent cards, but for now, click this. If you see a more updated one, then you'd obviously go for the most updated one that there is. But for now, we're clicking this. You can see that it's downloading. And we should be able to take that file as soon as it finishes downloading. And we're going to take it over here. And once we click add image packs, we'll be able to go to our downloads and we should be able to find it. So we go here, and this is exactly what just finished downloading. We just look at our downloads. This is the only thing downloaded today. Open, and we're going to install the image pack. Now it's going to install all those images so that all those cards that we saw without images are going to have now images to go along with each one of them. Once that's done, it's just going to disappear, and then we should be able to go into the deck editor now, and we should be able to see all the images. We're going to go here, and now when we click on each card, you should be able to see the images of each card. So now this is the deck builder. You can use this as a deck builder if you like, or you can use this to load up your decks from your favorite deck building website, such as Shenron's Lair. So how this works if you want to use it manually, which I don't suggest, but hey, it's up to you. Now these have little filters, so you can filter them by name or set or type or whatever. Okay, so we can go on here, and if we wanted this to be our leader, we can drag and drop. All right, so it's pretty simple. Drag and drop where you want it. So you got your leader area, your deck area, and your sideboard. So you can drag and drop cards there. You can also modify the quantities by double clicking and putting the quantity that you want. So if you want 4 copies of this, 4 copies of this, 4 copies of this, it's as simple as doing that. If you want to take this out of your deck, you can also, I think, drag and drop it out. Yeah, as you drag and drop it out, you lower the quantity. So you can see this going from 4 to 1. Same thing here. Drag and dropping will just lower it. So pretty cool, pretty useful. Now, this is the most common way of loading the deck that I'm going to show you right now. So this is manual. If you want to just manually make a deck, you can do that this way. But this is probably going to be the most common way that you'll want to do it. And that's by going on a deck builder like Shenron's Lair and just logging into your account, or actually just taking, like, you don't even have to log into your account and load up a deck. You can actually just go to decks. You can just take anybody's deck. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to decks, and we're just going to load up the first deck that we see here. So we're going to go to the eye so we can see the deck. Once we see the deck here, we like it, we want to use it, right? So there's a little nifty option here that says Octagon. So you'll be able to press that. You'll see it download right here in an Octagon file ready for you to use. Now we boot up the Octagon deck builder once again. We're going to go to deck, and we're going to go to load. It's asking us if we want to save this pile of cards. No, we don't want to save this pile of cards as it's not real. We're going to go back to our downloads, and we're going to see our last download here is this Son Goku deck. It actually tells you what the leader is and all that stuff. If you name it something different also will be on here, but you can go ahead and just open. And we're going to see that our entire deck is now loaded into Octagon. So pretty simple. Now you're going to want to double check that your deck is 100% on here, because sometimes if you have Son Goku, there's a lot of different Son Goku leaders. So if the deck builder doesn't give Octagon as like full information, it might load you up a different Son Goku leader. So you always want to double check, make sure that all the cards are here. As you can see, all these cards have images. They're all in the system. And it looks like this deck is ready to go. It's got a 50 card deck. It has no sideboard here, so this is very important. If you're playing in a tournament like ours, you're going to want to build a sideboard. Now that we have this deck here, we can just save it as. We can put it somewhere more user-friendly, more accessible. This is what I suggest. I suggest putting it on your desktop and being like tournament deck, right? Tournament deck, or you can call it, you can even put like Kid Q, something familiar that you can be able to find. You can put it somewhere that's very accessible, like the desktop. So we got tournament deck Kid Q. We're going to save it on here so that next time we go and we load this deck, all we got to do is look at our desktop and we'll be able to boom, the deck is right here instead of going through downloads. I'm sure you'll download a lot of other files between the time that you download that deck on there. So it's always great to do that as a form of organization. And now we have this deck ready, right? So we can just close out this deck builder. we don't need that anymore. We still have this, which is our main dashboard, which we want to make sure to utilize, right? So now we have our deck, we have our images. How do we play Dragon Ball Super, right? So we're gonna go into the play or spectate tab, and this is gonna show us all the games that are being played on this platform, right? So if you're familiar with any other platform that plays these, that is a tabletop simulator like this, you know that there's always an open queue of games. So right now, the only game that's being played right now is a Final Fantasy game, which we can't spectate because we don't have that game downloaded on here. But if we wanted to go ahead and hop in a game, this would be essentially the same. You'll see Dragon Ball Super. You can also sort by game, you can sort by user, or you can sort by the name of the game. So I'm gonna kind of show you how to make a game, since we can't play into a game right now. Obviously there's nobody available. You can also see how long the game has been open for. So that's pretty interesting. So we're gonna go here to, whoa, this is not it. Oh yeah, this is it. So our username, you can put the game name. So this is very important. If you're playing in our tournament, you want to label this what table number you're at. So if I'm at table 1 at the Pro Play Tour online series, I'm going to want to name it game name table 1. So I want to make sure that my opponent can easily find me, because my name might be George Machado, for example, but my username is completely different from my real name. So it's very vital for you to make sure that you're actually under the right name. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Oh look, there's a few games here that popped up actually. You can see here that they're playing Dragon Ball Super right here. Antone Castadelli, I see. Okay, cool. We can put a password here. I don't know how to enable this, but you won't need to really. I don't think you need to worry about that. And then the game. Now, if you downloaded different games, you'll be able to pick which different game you're playing. But right now, we only have Dragon Ball installed, so that's the only option that it's giving us. And then we can go start here. Now, I believe, yeah. So this is what our game room essentially looks like. This will show us when somebody's joined our game. And then we'll be able to allow spectators, whatever this is, and then we can start the game whenever this is, whenever somebody joins in here. And you can actually see who joins in here before you start the game. So I don't believe I can start. I think I might be able to start without a player. Let's see if we can do it. All right, cool. So we were able to start the game without anybody in here. So this is how the interface will kind of look like. And let me see if I can scroll this down a little bit for you guys so you can see what this looks like at the top. As you can see, it's gonna say, Octagon, whatever. You're gonna have a bunch of tabs here, which is what you're gonna help to really play the game. And this is where you're gonna load the deck, right? So you're gonna go to load deck. You're gonna go back to the desktop. Easiest place to go find your deck. You're gonna go ahead and open it. And it should be able to load that in there, yeah. So you see right here that it kind of just popped in there. So as you can see, after clicking game and load deck, we have loaded in our deck. We have 50 cards here in our deck, and then we have 1 card over here in our leader. I believe you can just right click here and set up game, and this will automatically set up your leader and draw you your cards actually. So you can go, let's do that. Right click, set up game. As you can see, our leader's already put out there for us, and we have our starting hand. So at this point is when you can start doing mulligans, right? So you want to put cards back and etc, etc. So it doesn't really matter here. We're just going to show you exactly, just put you through just kind of like the reins. We're going to drag and drop. So this feature is pretty cool because not only can you rearrange your cards like this, but you can actually take them and put them back into the deck. And this information right here is not public, so they won't see that you put back Trunks back into your deck. This is only for you to kind of have a log of what you put back. So we're gonna put all these cards back. We're gonna right click our deck. We're gonna press shuffle, and we're gonna right click and we're gonna draw X. So we're gonna draw another 5 cards here. As you can see, this actually pops up on another screen for me, but I'm gonna try to drag it over here. It's gonna ask us how many cards we want to draw. I'm just gonna put 5 so that we can draw back to our 5. And this is, now we have resolved mulligans, we have our deck, and we can actually set up life here by right clicking, I believe. Okay, I think we have to just right click, yeah, right click the field, and we can set up life. So this will automatically set up your 8 cards life, which just popped up right over here. So here's our life, here's our deck. This is where your drop or your warp or whatever will go, and then this is where the rest of your cards will go. So if you end up having a drop, warp, and whatever, some of the extra zones will be over here. But it's pretty easy. All you got to do is hover over, and you'll really it'll tell you like what is each zone. So pretty cool thing about this feature also, or this platform, is that you can right click on any card, and it gives you an option to play as energy. So it'll do this cool little animation where it's going to put it upside down for you, and it's going to put it in this area, so you don't have to like move it around or anything like that. So that's pretty cool. Another cool thing that you can do here is you know, obviously you can tap untap by clicking the leader or by pressing tap untap on here. You have the untap all ability, so you can be all tapped out and then just right click here and press untap all. Remember, there's hotkeys next to each one of these as well, so you can memorize the hotkeys if you like. Obviously that's a whole different beast. You have the announcements like no counters, you have the announcements like no blocks, and you have the announcements like even finish comboing, which is very important. So you don't actually have to talk on chat. All this will be really just loaded up here for you, which you can actually extend this all the way and move your leader off to the side here, which is pretty convenient to do just if you want a whole chat log of things. Another cool thing here too is you can check your card list, so you can check how many cards are actually left in your not exactly in your deck, because obviously that would be cheating, because then you would know what your life is, but you can see here, I don't know how this deck was structured, but that Demigra that we put back is in our deck or life. So this is what the cards that we haven't seen yet. So these are the cards that we haven't seen yet. As you can see, our leader, we have none left in the deck, obviously, because we only started with one and we have it on the playing field. So this won't give you information about what's in your life, but it'll give you information as like what your outs are combined with your deck and your life, which is obviously all legal information for you to have in a tournament and things like that, as long as you memorize your deck. So that's a really cool thing that you can toggle on and off. But yeah, very, very cool. I'm going to go through a little bit different motions here as well that might be a little bit useful for you. So we went through untap all. You can see here that we have discard to discard this to the drop area if we need to. We have combo, we have awaken here too, we have activate. So I can go ahead and activate my leader. I can go ahead and awaken my leader. I can go ahead and unawaken my leader. I can also bean my leader by giving it 5k for the turn. I can continue to give it different power modifications and then minus power modification as well. So I can give it minus X power, which the question will be here, how many counters do you want to have? I don't know exactly how this works. Let's see, 2. Let's see, minus 2. So okay, you can put the counters like 1, or you can put the counters as whatever, honestly. But this is pretty cool. I think you can edit this information also. Yep, you can see here like minus 1,000, 10,000. So there's a few pretty cool things that you can do here. I think I need to put at least a number here, and then you can go ahead and remove from the game. Let's see. Let's try playing this. Okay, so it plays it over there. So you can just drag and drop onto the field too if you really want to. And if you really wanted to like charge from the field too, you can like, if we're charging this, we can play this and then charge as energy, and it'll automatically put it as energy if we want to do that. A few other cool things, if you want to send this to the drop, you can just discard. It'll send it, boom, to the drop. If you want to go ahead and play this and then maybe combo this from field, it'll automatically go and give you a plus 5k and put it sideways and highlight it in green, so it's very obvious that you're comboing. Same thing from hand. I can go ahead and combo with this as well, and you can see that it separates them and highlights them in green to show that they are indeed being comboed instead of like maybe a tapped energy or tapped card. We can see how, we know how crazy that gets with board states like that. So to draw, I think you can right click and just press draw, or you can control D, or you can even do this. This is one of my favorites, just dragging and dropping so that this is in our hand. One of the more asked about things to do with this is how, with Piccolo leader, how do I look at the top? Now we could look at top X cards. So here this will give us a question, view top X cards. We can look at top 1 card, for example. With Piccolo, this is something that really came up with me. I don't believe you could put this back to the bottom from here. So if you really wanted to put this at the bottom, you would have to look at it. Okay, cool, let's put it to the bottom, right? We drag the top card of our deck and put it on the field, but before we put it on the field, we hold shift, By holding shift, this will go face down. If we don't hold shift, then you can see that this becomes public information. So we kind of want to get away from that. So we want to make sure that if we are putting something on the field, we drag and drop, but hold shift before it drops. And you can see here that it's now private information. We can go ahead and from now that it's on the battlefield, we can go ahead and move this to the bottom of our deck, or any other type of function that we might want to do. So we can move this to the bottom of the deck, and you'll be able to, do that type of function. That is the most commonly asked function, or most commonly, it's something that may not come as second intuition. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. If I had an opponent here, I would be able to have access to their hand, or at least the face down cards in their hand, so I can see how many cards they have in their hand and things like that. I can see their drop area. If I wanted to see the drop area here, this is very important. From here, let's put these to the discard, right? So we finish comboing with them. We can actually look at our discard here by right clicking and pressing look at all cards, and it'll show us all cards in our drop zone. So you can see here that that's the drop zone. And if we had a warp, for example, let's send these to our warp here. Remove from game, remove from game, remove from game. And now you can see here that we have 30 cards left in our deck, 3 cards in our drop area, we have 8 cards in our life. And to look at our warp, it's all the way right here in this corner. We would have to click that, then I'll pop it out. So it kind of like puts it over here unless you really want to see it, just to save space. So same thing with here, we can go here and look at all cards. And you can do that on the opponent side too. On the opponent side, once you click their little tab, so this is our tab, Pro Play Games, but the other tab will be whatever your opponent is, and you'll have the same little layout down here. So you can't look at them both at the same time. You would have to toggle between both. But otherwise, you can pretty much see. You could even close and shuffle here if we wanted to shuffle our warp. Then that's the thing. How do you take life? I believe here you can just shuffle. You could shuffle your life, and then visibility. You can look at it, whatever you want to do. But the most common way to take life is just by dragging, dropping into your hand. So dragging and dropping. It's all private information, even though it's telling you here what you're getting as far as your log goes. But this is just for you to record keep. But this is how you take life effectively. So that's pretty much a small little crash course on how this program works, and it's really, really cool to be able to play on a platform. To be honest, I do like how this looks aesthetically, much better than other platforms. So you might want to check this out. It takes a little bit of an extra step, obviously, because of the whole download versus browser-based, but it's definitely worth it. It's a great way of playing Dragon Ball, and this is how we're going to be playing our online tournaments going forward. So you're definitely going to want to get on that and make sure that you know exactly the tips and tricks on how to play this. And thank you guys again for watching the video. Really do appreciate it. Make sure that you guys check out our online series on ppgeventmanagement.com. We're going to be playing for a lot of big prizing, and this is the best way for us as a Dragon Ball Super community to keep the game alive and keep the support going and get people, make sure that they don't get rusty throughout the season, and of course make sure that the meta continues to evolve, because we're going to be live streaming this, and a lot of the logistics from the event as far as like the top decks, top players are going to be profiled on our social media. So make sure that you guys check out this platform to play either casual or competitive events, and we hope to see you at one of our online tournaments in the future. Thank you guys again for watching. Till next time, we'll see you.